What's going on, y'all? It's the EFS podcast. We are back for another audio occasion. And before we get things kicked off, we're going to let my girl Cheryl Lee take us in one time. So we got this on deck.
So Cheryl Lee?
Never give up. Don't you ever give up on you. Don't you ever give up on your dreams, because no matter what, if it is meant for you, it will not miss you. As we say in Jamaica, what is for you can't be unfor you. So you must believe in yourself. You must really get up off of the sidelines of your own life and get in there and fight for you.
Tell them.
You're the best person out there to put up the good fight for you. And just know, you don't make it at 10, you can make it at 30. You don't make it at 30, you can make it at 50.
It's a marathon,
baby. You don't
baby.
make it at 50, you can make it at 60 and still give them goodness.
Praise him.
You hear that?
Come on now.
One time, little message for y'all on the way in. It's the EFS podcast, the podcast for self-starters and those willing to make the most out of any situations. We repeat, the podcast for self-starters and those willing to make the most out of any situation.
Yes.
And it's only right before we get this thing going, we come in with the theme music, as always. The gang is back. One time, EFS podcast, number 15. 15, right?
Big 1-5, baby.
We Vince Carter, baby. Vince Sanity out here. Vince Sanity, number 15 is on deck. EFS podcast. We got big energy. We recording in front of the live Knick game number 7 versus the Indiana Pacers. This is a different experience because I did not want to record right now, but for other reasons that we're going to leave discreet. You know, we don't keep it discreet. We got to record during game time. So if you catch my attention being a little bit diverted to the main event, Knicks in 7, it just is what it is. We're going to rock out today. Either way, I am back. I am your host, D. Burke.
Yes.
On the number 1 podcast in the world. I'm also taking on a new moniker. I am Realist A. Smith.
Oh, okay.
D. Burke,
Realist
a.k.a.
A.
Realist
Smith.
A. Smith. You know, one time to the Knick gang. Big Knicks fan. We got Spike in the house on the sideline getting hemmed up by Stephen A. Smith over there. So we're going to take on the Realist A. Smith, the moniker. I'm here with my man, Waldo Black.
Waldo to
You know, back for another audio occasion. As always, we're going to fade this out on the theme music, checking in mentally, physically. How we feeling, my brother? How's everything going today?
I'm working.
Working?
Yeah, I'm different.
Oh, you pulled a little double event last night
yeah,
or something.
Double,
say.
double. You know what I'm saying? Double.
Double. How many points? How many rebounds you put up out
You
there?
know what? I put up 30 and 15.
30 and 15?
Yeah, I did a good job.
That's respectable.
No,
That's respectable numbers
I
right
wish
there.
like life stats were able to be counted like that. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be fire.
But I tell you what, I did a great job. I had the DJ in event, and I did like this thing called Nostalgia. It's a little game kind of thing I created where we do raffles, we do music bingo, but it's not just music. It's also like old school things from Black culture, from hip hop culture, from
That's
like
fire.
For us. And you know, like I play like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song. I'll play Still Dre. I'll play, and you gotta, you know, check off the boxes. You get a free space, just like bingo.
Okay.
You know, pick a name out of a hat or whatever type joint, and the winner gets a prize. We also do raffles, but the most exciting part last night is when we had 2 people win at the same time, and they had to do rock paper scissors battles. We go back to back. I call it rock paper scissors shoot. Throw their hands out. You know how rock paper scissors go. But it became so intense because I mean it was best 2 out of 3, and it got to a point where it was like everybody in the room was like turned up. It was crazy. Fire. But I just loved it. I love doing like fun things like that. It's not always about turning up and dancing and twerking. We could sit back, play spades, play Uno, catch vibes. I love those vibes, man. Those are good times, man. We don't do that as much.
Especially in my big age, you know. All that turn up shit is, you know.
Listen, these knees.
You get one big turn up for me every so often. So now I'm in the crib, you know.
Vibing.
Card games.
I love that. I love that good energy. So we did that last night and had a good time. And shout outs to Yachi baby and the whole gang and the whole camp over there. They turned up. They had a music video release party too.
Okay.
Which was at the Penn Cinema. And they was really, I mean, Delaware doing some things, man. I'm just proud of like Delaware artists. They really stepping their game up out here, man. Just sit back and relax and just.
Shouts to all the creators.
Yeah.
Shouts to all the creators. So as we wait for this Game 7 thing to kick off, we're going to start it right at the top with basketball, you know?
Let's do it, man.
Big time hoop energy today.
Big time. Hold on. Before you go there, I didn't ask you.
What?
How was you?
Oh, me?
Yeah. Before we roll into the basketball, we going to talk about that all pod.
No.
Is you straight? Is you good?
Me, I'm all right. I'm cooling. Weather's heating up again, you know. The last week was rainy and cold and all that other shit.
That's facts.
Put a damper on the energy, the summertime energy, but it's heating up right before we get to Memorial Day, which is big time, you know. Other than that, I'm cooling. We got a little trip coming up this weekend, some business opportunities, things that I'm going to. So
gonna get to the bag, huh?
It'll hopefully lead to that. It's more so networking, putting myself in position to get closer back to where my heart is at, as far as, you know, what I was doing before the gig that I'm in now, you know. Training with young athletes and all that stuff. Got a AAU tournament, you know, EYBL, like the Nike EYBL, Youth Basketball League and all that. Right. So I'm going to be with one of the teams out there doing in Kansas City, the Kansas City tournament that's coming up for Memorial Day weekend.
Nice.
So I'm going to be out there rocking one of the teams, doing a lot of strength and conditioning stuff with them beforehand, but then leading into the weekend, just making sure they're recovering right between games and setting themselves up to be able to play at the elite level, you know, for their age, you know, for the next competition, which is good because, you know, AAU basketball is a big kind of networking and great opportunity for myself to step back into it and see it on like the biggest stage on the high school level, you know, high school youth level, you know, be able to impact the younger generation in a positive way, which has always been part of my goals. So I want to lean back more into that and create opportunities and space for that. So reached out to one of my guys, my friends. Well, he actually reached out to me about it, and then was just like, yo, you know, what you doing this summer? You know, can I get you with my team? We'll travel. You know, I might be down at Peach Jam. If they're qualified for it, I got to check their stand-ins and see how far along or how close they are to qualifying for Peach Jam, which is like one of the biggest, you know, if you in any kind of AAU basketball knowledge or understanding, like Peach Jam is like, it's one of the biggest EYBL events like all year. Like last year, LeBron was out there, Melo was out there, you know, I think LeBron and Rondo coached out there possibly, but, you know, it's following along with the young guys for the rest of the summer. So yeah, that's coming up. So I'm looking forward to that. Outside of that, everything else is Gucci, man. Everything is Gucci, mentally, spiritually, physically, all things in between. I'm in a good space, you know.
Love to hear.
Summertime is right around the corner, so that's when I turn up, you know.
Okay.
Naturally brings out you know, a different vibe in me. So looking forward to that. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get it then.
Let's get it. Game about to kick off. They walking out right now, so I guess we're going to keep it playoffs.
As
my boys go out here, we're going to speak it into existence. By the time this is released, we'll be in the middle of the Eastern Conference Finals. Once we get this thing done today. Once we get it done there.
Think so.
Yeah, we at home. Garden time. Big Nick energy, you know.
Big Nick.
We will have the volume on, but look, we got Spreewell out there. Legend. Clyde.
Clyde's out there.
Clyde out there, you know. But yeah, it's a good time in the basketball space. So Kyrie and them got it done last night, as I called.
Yes, they did.
Last episode, I said what, 6 or 7?
Yeah, you did.
You know, Real Estate Smith got this thing.
Real Estate Smith.
You know, Real Estate Smith got a good eye and a good mind for this thing. So I'm looking forward to that for sure.
So where do you see? Because I mean, obviously, Kyrie, Luka, dynamic duo for sure.
Facts.
But is it enough to go to the Western Conference Finals
and win
and go?
I mean, they're in the Western Conference Finals now.
But I'm saying like because here's the thing: to go to distance and end it all and be the best in the West. Do they have it? You obviously see the Wolves ain't playing. Neither is Denver.
Oh no, for sure.
Both teams have the capability to really put you know, Kyrie and Luka to work.
It'll be an interesting series. I'm still of the mindset that if it's Denver, if it's Denver or the Timberwolves, I don't know if Dallas gets past them. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. I got to see how the first couple of games play out. I wouldn't put money. You know, if I'm willing to put money on it, then I mean, I'm willing to stamp my opinion on that for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how that's going to turn out. I would still call the Nuggets or the Timberwolves over Dallas.
Interesting.
But I think it's a good step for them. Step in the right direction, especially not making that the playoffs last year. You know, with the whole tanking and all the drama that they had going on around that. I think it's a good bounce back for them. You know, prove that they was in the right mindset with how they was managing whatever they wanted to do internally as an organization to now make it to this level now. You know, got Kyrie clicking. Kyrie ain't played so well, but I think second half he turned it up. You know, closing out. They say he's 14-0 in closeout games now, which is a crazy stat.
Is crazy.
You know, but you know, I'm looking forward to seeing
14-0 in closeout game. He's a closer.
He's a closer.
For sure.
And Luka, hopefully get healthy. The knee and everything else that's ailing him currently. He got a couple of days to rest up. And it's big time one way or the other. We're gonna see what this next game look like after this. I'm interested in to see that one for sure. Ant-Man and then the Joker going at it.
Who are you rooting for between them? Are you thinking that? Because I know personally, I want Ant to win.
My money would be on the champs. My heart is with Ant.
Okay.
I want to say that.
Okay.
Like,
so you got your money on the Nuggets.
Chance been there. Jokic got another MVP. It's like success, and all that, which is great. So I support that. You know, I'm not hating on it, but I would like to see the young boy, you know, who is the next iteration of the lineage and all that of the Kobe's, the Mikes, that mentality. So I want to see that go far.
Yeah, you got the dog in you.
You got a dog.
But at the same time, I go back to the conversation we had last pod when we talked about SGA.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, prove it. If you think that you're supposed to have that finals, not the finals, that MVP, do you have it in you to knock off the team that's right in front of you? Now the argument then falls if Joker loses too, then maybe the argument's still there. Maybe that valuableness may need to be relooked at on how we measure value, right? How do we measure value in the league, in today's league at least, compared to what it used to be? You know what I mean? I just don't understand, as the game is changing and the eyes are changing, and you know, the voters of NBA basketball, right? Because we as fans get to vote, but the fans used to be, you know, kind of generally America, and now the fans is a lot larger. It's a global fan base. So how much is it weighted into how we consider who's the most valuable?
I mean, from my perspective, you know, I'm old school, so same rules apply. It's just a bigger game. And Joker's like legendary. Like, one of the best big men. He will go down as one of the best big men ever.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's not this year, then I believe they'll retool, bounce back. He's not old, so he's got more and more years of dominance ahead of him.
And he's healthy.
Yeah. Generally, you know, he don't miss a bunch of games. He's reliable. He produces. Like,
physical.
3 out of the last 4 years, like you don't sneeze and fall into that kind of success. So
No, you don't.
I think they'll be fine long run. I don't know if this year is their year, because that whole series is one beating the shit out of the other, and then the next beating the shit out. There's not a lot of close games.
You can't predict
in that series. So I don't know how it's about to play out tonight, but we're gonna see.
It's the most uncomfortable game to bet on.
Yeah. I would the way it's been going. Like, I put a post out there. I said, I don't really know what the fuck is going on in this series. Like, you know, from my basketball eye, I do understand what I'm seeing, but just the level of, for one team's that much better, and then another team is on a night by night basis. Like, it's hard to predict with them two. So we're gonna see. My money will be on the champs because they got the proven track record, but my heart is with the young boy. You know. I want to see Ant. I want to see the AE1s in the in the conference spot. Nah, you gotta check the low tops though. I've been looking at them more and more now.
Look, if you pull up in here with some damn AE1s, I'm going to clown you, because them big ass boat shoes is not going. They're not looking good. I don't care how you spin them. You can chop them off the side.
If Ant go to the NBA Finals this year,
you're copping AE1s.
I'm copping a pair of AE1s.
You crazy?
I'm copping a pair of AE1s.
They do not look good enough. If
Ant go to the finals,
you don't even wear Adidas.
Nah, I don't.
So you just
I might turn over a new leaf for the young boy, the Mr. Ant-Man. You know,
just to support. Maybe I'll get a T-shirt or something, but I'm not gonna get a pair of shoes that I know I don't like. He has to get something new. He has to come out with a new shoe.
He's gonna come out with a new shoe for the next few years.
At least for me.
A2, 3s.
Yeah, I need a 2 or 3 or something. Even Jordan got some ugly sneaks, but I'm just. I know what.
Yeah, the Jordans after a certain point, they did start to turn a little trash.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't like them sneakers. But again,
you know,
I don't sit here and hate without having something, you know, to stand on. I'm not just hating on Anthony Edwards. I'm just saying those shoes is ugly.
No doubt. It's all perspective.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, if you make it to that point, you're gonna see him on, and
you think
mark
niggas,
this.
You think niggas is gonna cop him?
They already cop him.
Oh my goodness.
The shoe does well. The shoe does well on the market.
I never pulled up anywhere and saw some niggas were rocking the 81.
I mean, of course, we talking about hoopers though. The shoe does well for the hoop market. The youth and all that. So, but nah, stamp it. Episode 15. If Ant Edwards makes it to the NBA Finals, I'm pulling up to the EFS pod. We're gonna have him on camera for an episode.
Hold him accountable.
Today I got the Salehi Bembry Crocs on, but you will see me with a pair of Ant Edwards ones if they make it that far. Nice. Shouts to the young boy, the dog out there. We're gonna see what he do tonight.
We'll see.
Eastern Conference though. How we feel about Boston?
I think Boston is
they looking shaky.
Flailing is what the word I would use, right?
They stumbling through the playoffs from my perspective.
It's almost like we said before. It was like they were like the sure bet they were going to be in the finals.
They're going to get the finals.
It just feels like they're not as a surefire bet as we
to win.
Thought. Yeah,
I don't know.
That's why I thought it.
Porzingis being out hurts them.
It does,
and you don't really realize until now how much of a pivotal piece to what they do Porzingis is until you ain't got him out there.
Yeah, Porzingis was elite even when he was at the Knicks.
I wouldn't say elite. He was a good player. All-star. He made an all-star team.
What are we looking for from elite? What does he have to do?
I mean, he's been injured, so his career has been kind of up and down is all I'm saying. Like, he was a budding star when he was with the Knicks. He made the all-star game, all that shit. But ever since
elite,
then,
isn't it?
Depends. Perennial all-star is elite. Like, if you're doing it year after year after year. First one,
you look at consistency.
Yeah, no doubt.
I look at
that first one, like you heating up.
Yeah, the performance is
the stove,
good.
the oven is heating up. Once you put the meat in there and all that pause and it's slow cooking all that, and then year by year, you're putting together a good career. But after he left the Knicks, injuries, which has been his knock. So I was hoping that we would have had a chance to turn the tides on that and prove people wrong, but injuries. Yeah. So, I think
is it hard to keep that level of play at that caliber just and not have injuries though? I feel like it's a very common thing when you get to that level. You're trying to maintain all-star status. You're trying to be up there. It just happens, especially to a lot of the big men. And
yes and no. I mean, I can't speak for NBA players, so I'm not going to say I'm
professional basketball as a whole.
I feel you. I know what you're saying. I'm just putting out my disclaimer for somebody like, nigga, you don't know. You ain't playing the league.
Nigga, you don't know.
So it's like, nah, I don't know what it's like to be an all-star in the NBA.
If you disagree, comment. Shit. Say what you feel.
Like, comment, and subscribe while you talking about my basketball career, what I didn't do. But nah, in general, I do think that it is challenging to maintain that level, but these guys are still getting the best of the best. So I don't know what it's like to play an 82-game season. My highest season's number of games played when I was a professional was like 40s, in that range. Maybe 50-something if you get to the playoffs. Right. I wouldn't really count those in the original number, but that's a lot less games than 82.
Yeah, 82 is a
so
level.
I don't really know what that level is like to maintain that, but guys do it. So and that's where they separate themselves.
That you
two of my seasons
back-to-back seasons.
One, so, and you're stretching it out over the same amount of time, kind of, but the games is coming a lot more frequently, which is where you got less practice time,
Exactly.
Overseas, we grinding it out Monday through Friday sometimes, practice times. You might have a game on a Tuesday, then your next game is on Saturday, so it just depends on the week or what you got on the schedule, but you grind it out with practice outside of that. You practicing heavy grind overseas. Like, they ain't doing that in the NBA because you got so many games coming. There'll be sometimes weeks where these guys don't actually practice because everything is just, I come in, shoot around, game, hop on the plane, next city, get to the next city, film, shoot around. Like, there ain't really no real, like, practice sessions,
Right.
Like, where, for instance, when Doc Rivers got to the Bucks, like, he was saying he couldn't really put shit in because it was mid-season when he got there and they hadn't had time to practice. So you're kind of doing all that shit on the fly and just expecting the highest level of players to adapt to whatever the scenario is that the coach is trying to, X's and O's and all that. Yeah. So, like, I don't know what it's like to sustain that level over that long. I know there's a lot of people that do it. So Porzingis he's a decent player. I'm not shitting on him.
Right.
Like, I was a lightweight fan when he was with the Knicks. He was playing for my team. So, I think that he's skilled. But as far as the original point, the Celtics don't have him, and I think that they're showing the level of inconsistency with Jason Tatum, and then Jaylen Brown, which has been a knock on them for years now. It's like, all right, they great players, but do they got enough to get it done? Like they not putting a stamp on the playoffs,
right?
And not to say they're not playing good teams. Like they had good teams in both series. This past series with the Cleveland Cavs before Donovan Mitchell went out, that shit could have changed the whole course of the series.
Might have been a different story
because he was giving them business, like and I like Donovan. I like his game. I like his personality and all that too. So that could have went a whole different way. But we'll see how they go. Going to the final. They're gonna get to the finals. Hopefully they play on my Knicks.
And you think the Knicks is going
pull it out? Yeah. Heart and my heart and my money would be on the Knicks. Just because we at home.
We'll talk about that dollar bet when that comes up.
We gotta do what is the FanDuel live betting? It's 23-20 right now, first quarter.
Donovan Mitchell, I think I saw. Where was it at? It was an interview that happened on, I think it was ESPN, talking about Bronny.
Everybody talking about Bronny right now.
They were saying that the scouts were saying he's a poor man's Donovan Mitchell.
Did they say that?
I think that's what I'm thinking.
I ain't see that one.
Somebody check and pull me out.
I ain't saying wrong. I just ain't saying I ain't see it.
That was what the scouts from the combine was saying. It was one scout said that, and one scout said that he's undersized and not a facilitator, point guard. So he's an undersized shooting guard, and
seen that.
But also I saw that he had like 12 straight threes and 40.5
5-star drill.
Yeah,
like I watched it.
I heard that he was doing great in terms of court vision, IQ was away from the ball, and when he had the ball in his hand, he scored. He was doing what he like. I just don't. I want your take because you said you watched it.
I watched him shoot the 5-star drill. I was doing a little recovery work, and it was on the TV where I was at. So.
Is it enough to get him in the league? Did he do enough at the combine to get him in the league?
My official take, because there's a lot of Bronny takes going on right now. I've seen so many varying opinions on the young man that I don't know what the hell is actually real, because the analysts and all that on TV, some of them are saying he ain't ready for the league. Some of them saying they talked to, I think it was Adrian Wojnarowski or somebody who said they spoke to executives at the NBA Combine. Was it him or my other big homie? I'm blanking on his name. Not Adrian Wojnarowski. I'm blanking on his name. Chubby heavyset dude that be on. He repped the Cavs. I'm blanking on his name.
Oh, it's all good though.
Yeah, but either way. Was saying that they spoke to NBA executives and they basically said that, he's not ready. He's handling everything well, but he doesn't do this. He doesn't do this. He doesn't have this, so he's not really an NBA prospect.
Interesting.
But then I'm also seeing reports coming through Bleacher Report today that they saying Bronny could possibly get drafted in the first round. So I don't know what is actually real.
Interesting.
My take,
please,
is just that it's hard pressed to find anybody that doesn't believe that if he does get to the league, it's not going to be because of his father.
Interesting. So,
and I fall along the same lines because I don't believe players who average the amount of points he did in college, who play for the school that he did in college. USC is cool, but right now they're not hot. They're a pretty average program at best. That's putting it, nicely.
Nicely, yeah.
And the season he had doesn't really warrant, I'm going to the NBA, And I know they're saying, well, so-and-so dropped 10 points when he got drafted to the league, and trying to compare him to other players that didn't have the most, biggest stats in college but somehow made it to the league. Yeah, sure, there are players like that. But I think, again, a lot of it is on his pops, And I think that he's trying to do the best that he can to step away from that, even the depressor they had, and he was like, I'm trying to make a name for myself. I wouldn't want to just play with my pops if that means that's the only way I get to the league. Something like that he said. Basically, he said he's not turning down no opportunities, and he just wants to get to the league and prove himself. Yeah. I respect it. I don't think I think you can find a bunch of players that would be spoken about in the same way as far as the actual physical attributes. Like the agility, the vertical, height, speed, all the other stuff, the athletic part of it.
Yeah.
And then the prototype of player / skill level and attributes that he possesses. There's a bunch of players you can put in that same position, and NBA scouts speak about the same way.
Right.
We talk about it because it's Bronny. That's LeBron James' son. So he's going to get that level of attention, and especially when your father comes out and says, I want to play with my son in the league. Or early this year, which I laughed at when he said Bronny's better than dudes in the league right now. And now it's like you look kind of, and we know LeBron loves to control
narratives.
Exactly. Yep. That's his thing. But to me, you look crazy when you're saying he's better than players in the league right now. And then he's getting scouted by people who really do this for a long time now. Yeah. And they're saying he's not ready. He should go back to school. What's the rush? Et cetera, et cetera. To me, it's literally, what the fuck is the rush? Like, you are good. A lot of these guys, sometimes they leaving to go to the league because they need money. Like, their families is in a downtrodden state, and they like, I'm the cash cow. I got to get to the league so I can start to provide for the people that, that took care of me my whole life. That type of situation.
I do agree with you. I did agree. And he could take time to develop more and to get with the right fit, especially in college, where there's NIL deals now. So you can make the money and all that.
And he don't need that money. Not to say he don't want it on his own, but that nigga's not hurting for bread.
When I look at what it is that if you were in a position to get to the league quicker,
sure,
would you not take it?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think at the end of the day, it isn't just the money. I think there is a part of
that just wants to be on that level.
That just wants to be an NBA
I get
player. And if I didn't have, if I'm Bronny and I ain't got a dad, I want to be in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But since I do have a dad that is probably arguably one of the greatest, or if not the greatest of all time,
yeah,
you're damn right I'm using that and I'm getting in the league faster.
I'm not, yeah, for sure.
So I'm not, and I look at that and I say, talent-wise, he's not a scrub. He's not a scrub. He can be a contributor to a team. To what level? I think time will tell. There's not many 6'1.5" players in the league as it is. And then you on top of that, to be that and not have a signature move, to not have, the highest level of agility, Look bad for a second over there. I was just like, hold on now.
Chill.
I'm just saying, to not have a high level like performance, we don't know what his capabilities are, because I feel like we didn't even get a chance to see nothing when he was at USC. The couple of games that he played in, it was lackluster.
It's mid at best, bro.
Lackluster, and I think he had flashes of performance and flashes of ability. I just don't know if it's enough to say that boy needs to be in the league next year. And that's my personal stake. I know if there's at any point you're gonna hear this young man is gonna be on a team, I don't think anybody's gonna say, well, I wonder why.
We know why.
We know why. We got it.
For sure.
But let it happen and see and how long he stays in the league is going to be dependent upon.
That was going to be my point. Yeah. Not to counter what you said, because I think we're saying the same thing, just like different ways. So I noticed that. But on to what you said about why wait? Like, I do, if you got an opportunity to go for sure. Like, personally, one of my homies, like my friend that I played in college with, had an opportunity to go to the league, didn't go, and I think his career went a different way after that, right. Dominique James, and I hope he don't mind, and I'm speaking about this, because I'm not putting you in any kind of bad light, but we just recognize what was actually the case, Freshman year in Marquette, rookie of the year in Marquette. In the Big East, excuse me. Played very, very well his first year. Could have went to the league and possibly got drafted that year, and I think that for reasons that I'm not going to put out there too much, because I don't want to get too deep into the story, he decided to stay. Saw people like Kyle Lowry get drafted right in front of him, along with our teammate Steve Novak when we was freshmen and he was senior.
Right.
So he went through it and he's like, yo, bro, I dogged Kyle Lowry when we played them, when we played Villanova. I know what I went out there and did. Think he could have got to the league at that point, and wouldn't have been mad at him if he left, because us on that at that time is like, bro, like, hell yeah, my nigga, if you want to go, decided to stay and never made it to the league after that. So I do agree that if you can go.
Right.
But to your other point of what you were just saying, I also don't want to see players set themselves up to go and then maybe not get drafted, or go squeak their way in there and then be in and out the league for like by the next 2-3 years,
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you going to the league for?
Right.
A lot of people's ceiling is end of the roster on the league, like end of the bench player on a league roster.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people's ceiling, Some people is 6-man ceiling. Like, some people is you're a starter in the NBA. Some people are like, bro, he's a stud. He's a generational talent. He's an all-star in the next few years. So it's really all about what your ceiling is. We don't know what Bronny's ceiling is yet to say that he is actually an NBA player who's going to be on a roster consistently. Because from what it sounds like, from what he's echoing, I want to go in the league and I want to make my mark and put my name in the books outside of my father's. You're not doing that, and you squeak your way in the league and then you're out of there in 2-3 years. Like, you're not doing that. So if your perspective is you want to last in the league, set yourself up to get in there and make the run that you actually are trying to make as far as being on the roster year by year. You're not going to be LeBron James, bro. Like, I'm sorry. You're not. Your father's name is like, your father is one of the GOATs. Some people's GOAT. Maybe not mine. We could have that argument all day, but his father is a lot of people. He's the best player ever in history. So we ain't even going to argue that. That's a steep hill for his son to climb. Steep.
I don't think he has to climb it, though.
He doesn't. He doesn't have to climb.
The beauty of it is, I think because his dad is LeBron James, it's further releasing him of the responsibility.
Sure.
It's like you don't have, like,
because you don't want to be a bust either.
But you said, let's make a mark. Hey, a shit stain could be a mark. Let's be real. I'm just letting you know it's not to me, it's not even about, I think in Bronny's mind, right? Because you don't get to this point in your life following behind the ginormous shadow that is LeBron James, with every decision, every move made so calculated and meticulous, and from the moves off the court to the moves on the court. He is probably the best at navigating the media and
illest ever.
Just at that.
Ever. Had a lot of missteps. We'll put that out there. No, a lot of shit that he did that I'm just like, but
he has his own museum. He rewrites his own history. No, for sure. He does he does it so well. So I'm saying he paved a clear-cut path, not only for Bronny, but for Bryce too. Both his kids to be able to slide into the NBA through a path that he's laid. And I don't see anybody saying, man, I really don't want to have good favor with LeBron James and have a favor in the back pocket with LeBron James for drafting his son. I'll take it. That's an investment. I'll take it.
That's why.
It's the smartest thing you could do as a businessman is to invest in LeBron James by drafting his son. And as a business owner, I'm saying, like, I'm looking at the business side of it.
And the smartest thing you can do, and I know the people that's like, oh, well, he only getting in there because of his pops. Like, yeah, I get that. Yep. But in other industries, we see people who got money and influence create the path for their next generation, their sons and daughters. Like,
cousins, family,
here's the company.
Uncle, everybody can get it. Yeah.
Or here's the contact of the person I know that's going to get you the job. Nepotism for sure. But if it was me and I had the opportunity to put my daughter in a better space off of some shit that I did, yeah, I'm doing it. Like,
you're doing it.
So I don't knock that part of it for sure. Like, I know people saying like, oh, it's a mockery. This is that, whatever. Like, we've seen it in so many industries, bro. You can't be mad at someone trying to create a good life for their child behind them.
Right.
The level that I think LeBron has gone to disrespect NBA players and say Bronny's better than y'all. That's where I think it gets a little funny. But yeah,
I think he's a bias because it's his son.
Of course, but you got to be biased, but you ought to be real too. Like, don't
not my son.
My
son
got a lot of work to do.
I'm gonna give grace.
My son got work to do. Do I think he's an NBA player at one point? Sure. I'm not gonna say. For no reason, too, Bronny's better than some of y'all right now. Like, because you just, again, you narrative, man. You making a narrative.
I think he's blind to it. Because I think he sees...
And that's where
you lose me. He sees as a father.
That's where you lose me.
The potential of his son versus what he sees some of these cats that may be in the league.
You can see potential. number one, you can see potential, but then once you start to, I think, because I know Bronny's seen that comment, once you start to skew your child's perspective of the work that it takes to get to a certain level, then for me, you setting the kid up for entitlement issues and, things to where they actually aren't earning the things that they want to go out there and achieve, And I'm big on doing the work,
Yeah.
So I'm never going to come out my mouth and say, yeah, my son's an NBA player, right? Unless he actually, if he's put up, he's the next freaking Carmelo or next great one of them players. I'm not going to come out my face and say, yo, he's better than NBA players right now. He's like, dude, I know.
What if he's as good as Austin Reeves or...
I've seen Austin Reeves. That was my era. I've seen him.
What if he's just
Austin Reeves was a dog.
What I'm saying is, what if he's that's his?
And I know that's
ceiling.
not popular opinion because of the whole back and forth
I'm
with
just
the
saying,
football player.
Ceiling-wise,
Austin Reeves was a dog. Don't let all that shit fool you.
Ceiling wise, if
Sure.
that's his ceiling is Austin Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still a successful?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
for
at.
Sure. I'm just saying right now, if you're gonna compare Austin to this point, to Bronny to this point. Here, Austin, Bronny's still here.
Interesting.
Austin Reeves was a dog.
I don't have enough sample size to look at.
Austin Reeves was nice in high school. Nice. Austin Reeves used to come work out in the summertime when we was at Marquette because his father, Doc Rivers, is a Marquette graduate. So we rolling out the door.
You talking about Austin Rivers or Austin Reeves?
Austin Rivers.
I'm talking about Austin Reeves from the Lakers.
Austin Reeves. Okay.
No, you good. No, Austin Rivers. Go ahead. Austin Rivers. Go ahead.
I mean, same ceiling, if you're just being honest to me. Same level of players.
Yeah,
but
see.
Austin Rivers, Austin Reeves, same ceiling. But if that's Bronny's ceiling, then great. The success for him, I think. Stick in the league, but you got to get there first. And I only think, again, is a lot of it right now, the conversation is going to be it's off the sweat of his father's back, which is fine, but it just feels a little like you're slighting other people currently because it's such a big conversation on he wasn't even supposed to be a McDonald's All-American. He didn't have a great season in college. And again, all of that is really off of you being LeBron.
But he also had the heart situation, which was a big deal.
No doubt.
I just think that season didn't really. I personally don't feel like I got to see enough of him.
Exactly. So what's the rush?
So again, I don't know what the biggest outcome will be of this. I do agree with you that in terms of, I think we said this before about skipping steps. I think it calls back to that, right? Again, we both have different philosophies on that. Like I said, I don't care how you get there, just get there.
No doubt.
That's how I see it. And it seems like that's the route he's going to take, and he might get the outcome. He might get what he wants. Is that going to be? It's yet to be determined. We'll figure out if that's going to be a good decision or a bad one in long term. We'll see.
The kid's going to be all right one way or another. Your father is one of the greatest ever. So he'll be all right one way or another.
Yeah.
We just got to let it play out and see.
I'm excited to see it, though.
Yeah, we're going to see. Draft is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I just seen that Bleacher Report shit today that he was potential first rounder. So we'll see. Maybe proving some people wrong.
First
or maybe
round,
Braun
man.
is on the phone like, yo,
if
y'all want me to retire a year sooner or what?
What do you want me to do?
Right.
I mean, at this point, I've helped build this league. I got a little bit of equity, a little
Get
bit
my
of stock
son in there.
this.
Get my son in there.
Put my son in there. Whatever team that picks him
No
up,
doubt.
I'll do a player option and I'll go to that team.
I don't know, because they said LeBron said he's not willing to just forsake the Lakers just to go where his son go. They did
the
see
Lakers
that.
better to draft him then. That's it.
Which I think is a bad statement to put out there if you're trying to hold the Lakers' foot to the fire, because if you're saying you're going to be loyal to them no matter what, I don't know. We're going to see. He's going to opt out for sure.
It's hard, yeah.
Just for business reasons, he needs to opt out of that contract.
Yeah.
It's the smartest thing to do when you have that option as a player.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
He's going to opt out, and they might re-sign him for a bigger amount.
Or that. Or they might say, all right, I'm opting out. You drafting Bronny or not? So I don't know.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. So
at this
we'll
point?
see. But we'll see how it turn out. We'll see how it turn out. But shouts to Bronny, man. Hopefully that kid.
Best of luck to you,
Best
Bronny.
of luck to you, man. We ain't hating. We just want to see. We just want to see what happens, and that's it. Moving forward, keep it sports.
Come on,
more
talk
the
to me,
negative side of things, as the Knicks are in a little bit of a deficit right now.
It's looking dark over there.
We got time. Nah, it's early. It's early. But moving forward, another athlete out here.
Talk to me, man.
Making negative news.
Is it negative news?
I guess we're gonna see.
Let's talk about it.
We're gonna see from your perspective.
Let's talk about it, man.
Harrison Butker.
Yeah, Mr. Butker.
Did you see his speech, his commencement speech?
I didn't watch the whole speech because he wasn't talking to me.
Did you get the gist of it?
I did get I seen The View talk about it and other news anchors talking about it. Essentially, he made some comments addressing women about basically, them working versus them being homemakers. And he may have spoke in a way that was dismissive or overlooked the hardworking woman of our society that choose to go that route.
It sounded real. Was the Republican red? Sounded real red.
Red?
Real red.
The red
real
conservative.
Real conservative.
I think it was very because he was speaking at a Catholic school.
Yes, it is a Jesuit university.
Right.
Yes.
So, as someone who went to Catholic school in elementary, you know what I mean?
Catholic high school, St. Benedict's University, and then Marquette University is also Jesuit. So, yes.
There's a different understanding of what's expected of you as at a school that is faith-based, is very much in the Bible, is speaking about particular set of things.
We get it.
So if you're not of that ilk, right, you're not going to appreciate, understand, or be a part of that speech isn't for you. That's not a speech that's going to speak. That's like us getting upset, right, at someone speaking in Arabic to their, Islamic people of faith. Like, how are we going to speak to me about what they're talking about to their people and their culture and their religion and their... So I just think... That is
fair.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going. That's my
no, to follow up, but you're a high-level athlete in the best league in the world for your sport.
Yep.
You know this shit is going on YouTube.
Facts.
You know this shit is probably live streamed. Like, Facts. I don't know. I saw this shit, like, I don't know how far after, but I did see the video of the speech. You might be speaking to your people, technically, I guess, because I can't even say for 100%, like, I'm sure 100% that everyone in that crowd had those same beliefs. The university who brought him in there, yes, maybe, because it's a Jesuit university. But even now, in today's society, the comments he made are a little bit, very touchy subject.
It is.
That's all I'm saying. Do you feel that was the right message to portray now to the world? Yes, because he's all over the news.
All right.
Because
Can I answer?
Yeah,
you want
sure.
My perspective? You want the short and sweet?
I want your perspective.
Okay, so my perspective is like this, right? I do not try to place right and wrong fault on someone who is speaking who they believe from their perspective on a spiritual level, right? When you start talking about the spirit, I believe he probably went to his God and prayed and talked to the Lord in his way, and came together and put those words on paper and said that this is what needs to be said, right? Whether it's right or wrong, that's going to be a very subjective thing. I don't have a problem with what he said because I'm not who he was speaking to, right? So if he wants to say something, he's allowed to have his opinion and his perspective. And if that's what, the Lord told him to say, it could very much be that's what the Lord told him to say, so we can have more conversations like this about what is, quote unquote, the right or the wrong. Because sometimes we need to have dialogue, and the only way we get to a deeper understanding is by talking, having those tough conversations, and then from those tough conversations we can pull from each other and say, I didn't even think about it that way. I ain't even get, and who knows if that's what God wanted him to do. Put this into the space, into the internet. So now we have a deeper conversation. Now I want your opinion, EFS family. Like, Is it right?
So
is
you're
it wrong?
saying he was sent to be the sacrificial lamb for the conversation?
Potentially. I'm just saying, in no way is he going to lose his job about what he said. To me,
well, the NFL made it. They came. I'm not gonna say he's losing his job, but the NFL did come out and say we don't support his views.
Basically, that they said that those views
are
not indicative. Not indicative of NFL. They basically they distance themselves, which I think is why it's difficult, especially when you're talking about faith-based things. It's hard, right? And I think there's a question about someone asked me. And they were like, what do you think about transgenders? And what do you think about gays? And what do you think about this? I was like, I don't think about them. I'm like, why are you asking me this question? Because that's not where my brain is at, right?
I mean, this is true.
I'm not thinking about them. Yeah. But I think
nobody asked him to go up there and say what he said. He just came up there. That was part of his commencement speech. And the quote from the NFL.
Go ahead.
From NFL senior VP Jonathan Bean. His views are not those of the NFL, his views are not those of the NFL as an organization. The NFL is steadfast in our commitment to inclusion, which only makes our league stronger.
Exactly.
It's like
it's textbook
with
distancing themselves from
a
potential controversy.
So I think for me, his statement is problematic. Like, especially in a day and age where when you're speaking to women, and my viewpoint was said that before. Like, I'm done speaking for women because that puts you in a position to where you get a lot of backlash. Like, the ladies can speak for themselves. Like, when you start getting on stage and talking about, this is what you are. Basically, you got two options. You either have kids or go out there and work. I know most of y'all think y'all go out there and work, but I think y'all be a lot more fulfilled if you just stick to the family, have kids, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm not quoting him per but
that's not a verbatim.
The messaging behind his statements was kind of that,
Okay.
And I think that is where the women, who I'm not speaking for, they've spoken for themselves in this case, is like, bro, don't tell us what the fuck you think we're supposed to do with our lives,
Interesting.
And that's where the disconnect comes. And where his ass is in hot water. Like, you can't be up there telling women what they can't do. You can't tell women what to do with their bodies now. You can't tell women what to wear. You can't tell women what to eat. You can't tell, all these things are just very, very, is a touchy subject. And not to say that I don't feel like some of it creates a bigger divide between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Because the women that speak for men oftentimes and say what they think that, we should do or we should feel and all that. But, I think it gets problematic when we do the same thing in return to them. But my perspective is like, I am not trying to oppress anyone, Women, men, freaking somebody who's yellow, purple, blue, like everyone has the right to live their life. But when you start speaking on what other people should do with their lives, almost within like... some level of just, bro, read the room. Like, read the room and understand that what you're saying could be perceived as such. I think it's like a little bit of a naiveness. I don't know what the word, man, but
naivety,
naive, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a little naive to go up there and just think that those statements weren't going to be taken some way,
Yeah.
And I ain't saying he a bad guy. Like, I don't know nothing about him outside of, like, this is the first time I actually even seen this much coverage on this one individual,
Yeah.
I think it's problematic, man. Don't speak for the women just because they're going to let you know how they feel, and they're going to let you know how they feel about what they're saying, I think whether it's good, right, wrong, they got the right to, if they want to go out there and work, they're going to work, I don't think you can tell a chick that she needs to be in the house and worried about that in this day and age, especially with the economy the way it is, and you probably need both people in the household to work for you to have a decent enough income so y'all can float the ship and all that.
It's crazy.
Like, there's too many societal things going on for that to be the stance that he's taken. And again, I'm not speaking for women, but I have seen enough to say, like, bro, like, shut up. You know what I'm saying? But I've also seen people in support of it.
Yeah.
So it's two different sides.
It's two different. And I think this is what I'm trying to find to me, the understanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do understand in society now, I feel like there's a lot of, I'm going to just call it demonic energy that is placed and emphasized on women, right? Why get a job? Go do your OnlyFans. Why, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things, and I think that's where it's like there's an attack on women to kind of stray away from anything holy, anything spiritually fulfilling, and seek hedonistic, like self-pleasuring, like as long as you get your money, you're gonna be fine. And I think that's not. I think the tone could have been better from what the speech was. I do believe that his efforts weren't with malice intent. That's what I'll say. It wasn't malice intent in his approach. I just think that the tone of when you're speaking about such a multi-pronged issue, it can easily be steered off the rails and fall into something that is interpreted negatively or interpreted to speak out against something like women working, which is something that was fought for so they could have that right and have that opportunity. So again, I'm looking at it just from the perspective of, is there a possibility that two things can be true? And I think this is where this conversation for me lands, where it's like, is it true that there's a lot of fulfillment in raising a family? Yes. Is it true that there's value in a lot of worth from great women in the workforce? Yes. Those two things can be true. I don't know if he's the messenger who should be putting forth a message like that, right? Or be the sponsor for that message. But they literally asked this man to speak at this college. The college didn't have any issue with what was said. The students didn't have any issue with what was said.
Do we know that?
Yeah, I did a little research to make sure I was understanding the full scope of the situation, right? So I'm looking at it from a perspective of, we are taking or appearing into a religious moment inside of a institution's religious moment, and then we're expecting it to fall in line with what is of the world, and it's rare that those two things happen. You go to any faith-based or religious-based thing, and you're going to see it doesn't match up with the masses and what the world's views are, because the world's views is honestly separate from what is in scriptures and things like that. There's certain texts and things that you can just go to, and you can, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Hindu, whether it's Islam, Christianity, like it rarely lines up to what is of the world and how we're doing things, because it's not supposed to. It's not designed that way. These are their instructions for their culture and their people that follow that book or that doctrine. So why are we trying to assimilate the people that are following that doctrine and doing that thing to what is of the masses and of the world? That doesn't make sense.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, outside of it being a Jesuit university and, the religious aspect of the school and all that, you're still speaking to the masses, more or less. Because your messaging for that university would have been the same thing you feel in general, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
He didn't give that speech just because, I'm at this university, so I feel I can get this shit off. That's how you feel. And if that's not how you feel, then you got to be more careful about how you speak about those things, because you work in an NFL, which is not a religious organization. We clearly know that. They about making money and they about entertaining people, So you are around different lifestyles, different, people, different walks of life, all that stuff.
Yep.
So you are someone who is in a different quote unquote culture, you know, which you can have your own religious views from, and I 100% respect everyone's religious views in a way that says you do what you feel is best for your life.
Right.
You know, I then think it becomes problematic to where it looks as if you're painting things as to be one way without any consideration for what others may feel about it, you know. And I'm not saying it was mallet. Like, again, I'm not saying there was any ill intent behind it. I just think when you get up there and you start speaking, you obviously should be educated enough to speak on certain issues, which I'm not saying he isn't, but you should also be mindful enough to know that if this is my stance on things, then I'm going to stand on that, and I'm going to be willing to take what comes from it.
And I think he was.
And no doubt.
I think he was. And that's why we're having this conversation now. But again, I think he said it in a way that could have been a little bit better tone-wise. I can agree with that. But I don't think that he would have changed his view. That's his view.
No, his views is views.
I don't think it's going to change at all.
Facts. Which is my point.
He has to stand in it. And sometimes, like I said, there's going to be moments where you're going to get called to say something, and it may not be what necessarily is perceived right by everybody. Someone's going to be offended. Someone's going to be upset. Someone might not like it.
Sure.
But that's what was called for in the moment at a Jesuit school's commencement speech.
To his
credit,
feeling or his whatever message he wanted to deliver. There's a bunch of different messages he could have got up there with. You know? He could have got up there and said, ladies, like, you know, just take God with you and conquer the world in whatever way you would like to.
That's fine, too.
Y'all valuable in the workforce. Y'all value his families. Like, y'all are the rock
stars. Probably been received better.
No doubt. You know, which is a simpler message to put out there rather than saying like, yo, this is one way and this is one way. You probably think it's going to be this way, but it's probably going to be this way.
Yeah.
You know, which is, I guess, a real perspective from his view. And that's the disconnect, you know. And if his message was to be divisive, you know, whether subconsciously, consciously, then, you know, that is what it is. But when you are giving that kind of speech, from my perspective, is more about uniting people and giving the right message for people to feel like they can go do what they want with the world that's in front of them. And, you know, and if you think, yo, you chicks should be in the house cooking, cleaning, having kids and all that stuff, there are a lot of people that feel like that. There's a lot of women that feel like that too. There's a lot of women that I've known that said, yo, like, I'm a traditional woman. I want to be in the house. I like when my man is this. I like to take care of my kids. I like to cook for the family, et cetera, et cetera. Nothing's wrong with that perspective,
right?
You know, but there's a whole other sector of women that's like, yo, we out here, you know. And whether you feminist, whether you and not feminist, but, you know, you still just in the workforce and you want to, like, make a name, a life for yourself that's not attached to your husband's, like, income, earnings, and him being a breadwinner, like, yeah, that's also a valuable perspective and a valuable person, you know, within the space that we currently live in. You know, it's all whatever you want to make out of life. So that's where I think the problem with his speech, like, was one way or another, you know. And it's not to say, again, I'm not bashing him. Do I think he deserves a job? Cool. I'm not saying cancel. Right? Like, no, I'm not. That ain't this, you know. It's just when you speak and, you know, you have a responsibility that the things that come out of your mouth can be perceived one way or another, you know. And that was my main thing with that whole Harrison thing.
I think that you're right. He should have done it better.
No doubt.
I think that, you know, if the tonality that was received was that there was some kind of, you know, inference that women are supposed to be homemakers, then the mark was missed. And I think that should be addressed. I personally speak for women.
Okay.
Right?
In what way?
And I'm gonna elaborate.
All right.
I speak for women, right?
That's the part they clip up.
Because I speak for women.
You know.
Make sure you comment down below. EFS podcast. No, because I feel like there's times where it takes society is in a place, especially now, where there's so much happening.
Run. Here's the run. Go ahead.
There's so much happening that we as men should be advocating for women. And I think
okay.
Right?
I see what you mean now.
Like we should speak up for women.
Yeah.
And
we about to in a second. So.
And that's why and I think when I hear you say like, I don't speak for women, and I speak for women because I know my niece, or, you know, when I have a daughter, I'm going to look at her and I'm going to be like, all right, I gotta be a champion for her. I gotta stand up and speak proudly and loudly
as an ally,
support. Yeah, in support.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that.
So, but in order to do that properly, you have to listen. You have to listen. Listen to what they're saying. And sometimes listen to what they're not saying to kind of get a deeper understanding and look inward into every moment. So again, with this Harrison situation, I think it is multi-layered. I do try to look at from all facets. But ladies, y'all tell us, you know, did he miss the mark? Is there a layer that is solely about the religion aspect or religious aspect? Or should he just shut up and be in a corner and not be speaking about women's issues?
I've seen a lot
all of those things
tearing his ass apart. I don't want to lie. There's a lot of them ladies tearing his ass apart.
All of those things I want to know. Please comment down below, like and subscribe, and share and have this conversation with us on the EFS podcast, man. We might bring the ladies on and talk about that again too.
I mean, we'll have them
I'm
back.
Open to that. Yeah, I'm open to having
2-on-2 this time.
2-on-2 would be a great change. So we can get.
I would love to have him there for this next piece of the conversation, but and this next one ain't necessarily me speaking for women, but just off of a man's perspective on what I've recently seen, we got some shit to address.
Yes, we do.
We're gonna keep it in the same lane. Ladies is tied in this one as well.
Yeah.
Just dropped this weekend. Was that Friday?
Friday.
Yeah. The leak, the video of one Sean Puffy Combs. We gotta talk about it. It's a lot of heat out there in society right now. I know you've been vocal, check the post. I saw it. I decided not to comment just because I wanted to roll out the conversation here.
Yeah.
Just because, that video didn't really sit well with myself.
He apologized. I don't know if you saw that too.
I saw it today. We're going to walk it slow.
Walk it slow. Let's go.
My first statement is, Diddy, as you said, you are a coward. You are a fuckboy. You are a woman beater. And it makes it very, very easy to believe all of the other allegations that are out there against you, sir. And I think whatever's coming to you from this situation, whether it be legal, whether it be business and, the canceling of Diddy and all that other shit, then you just got to sit in it and you got to take whatever comes from it.
Right.
My perspective is what I saw in that video was a man who's arrogant, controlling, narcissistic, violent, and I could keep going. A lot of things.
Pathetic.
Disgraceful display of what manhood should look like. And again, not speaking for women, but as a man, you don't move like that, bro. You don't move like that. And from all the other stories that have been circulating and the things that we've seen come out, things that are like speculated and rumored and all that shit, like, bro, I believe that's how you move. You don't get off on one woman like that without that being your pattern. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's a pattern of behavior for you to jump out of your hotel room bed because your girl is trying to sneak away after allegedly, because this wasn't on video, so I'm going to speak with responsibility, allegedly punched her in the face and gave her a black eye. She's trying to leave. You put your towel on. You ain't even got enough. That's the arrogance to me. Decency. Like, I'm going to run this chick down in my towel. Like, I'm not even going to put my drawers on and try to go talk to her like, yo, baby, blah, 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 whatever. I'm going to chase her down in my towel, snatch her up, throw her to the ground, kick her.
Trigger warning. Sorry about it. We should have,
Sorry.
Just to say that.
You've seen it. But very passionate about this one just because I don't fuck with woman beaters, bro. Like, I can't condone it. I can't stand behind it. I can't defend any of that shit. And I've been one of the people, not necessarily on here, but have said, like, let the process take its course. More will be revealed.
Yep.
Your dumbass was posting 2-3 days ago that time tells truth on your own account.
Yep.
Did you see that? It don't take far to scroll back to see that shit. It was literally 2 to 3 days before the actual video
leak.
came out.
Yeah.
Time tells truth. Fucking arrogant, bro. Like, arrogant. To be sitting here maintaining your innocence and all this other bullshit the whole time, and then one video drop, and now you switching your whole fucking tone to now you putting out a video today. Oh, I hit rock bottom. Bro, you're at rock bottom now. Fuck 2016, because I don't believe that was rock bottom for you. I don't believe you went to therapy. I don't believe you did all that shit that you said you did. I don't believe you actually took a look at it inward and you had to look back at your past self. Bro, I believe if any of this shit wouldn't have rolled out last November, you would still be moving the same fucking way.
Yeah.
So from me to you, fuck you, dude. Because we like as men and stand-up men at that, I'm not condoning woman beating, bro. Like, I'm not condoning woman beating. And all the other shit that has been floating around about allegedly. But we got proof now, bro. And when we see shit like that, it makes it a lot easier to believe that that's just how you get down. Again, you're a coward. You're a pussy.
Yep.
I hope somebody beat the shit out of you for your actions like that.
Yeah.
Whether it happened or not, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Probably not. We'll see. Unless he ends up doing some kind of time behind it. Then the boys inside, they'll take care of you there. And again, whatever's coming to you from it, you deserve, bro. You deserve. And that's just that from my side. I know Waldo got his own feelings about it, so I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Listen, bro. I co-sign everything that you said. I'll say that. On the flip side, Cassie, you are so strong. The fact that you had to deal with that and endure all of that, and you didn't have the ability to seek, I guess, justice.
Because they was coming for Cassie, too, over the last few months.
And it's just...
a lot of people walking that shit back now.
It's sad. It's sad. And I really think about, like, how difficult it must have been to go up against somebody like him and all of the money, the manipulation, the quote unquote power he's had. And I mean, it's just think about all of that time. 2016, you know how far ago that is?
8 years.
You know how much has happened.
8 years.
So she literally had to deal with that and endure that this entire time in silence without anybody believing, supporting, and being like, I just commend her for never giving up, for staying strong, and for I pray she's healed. I pray she's restored, renewed. I pray there's no PTSD from this. There's so many layers of what I think about when I hear abuse in any capacity. I want to talk about too, because there's so much. And this is to me another layer, because you go back in these cats, man. You go back and look at Russell Simmons and his allegations and things that he's done, and Diddy and like even Biggie. It supposedly was in the Biggie movie. I don't know if you remember. He got aggressive with Faith. There's a lot of toxic energy, and I come back to that, and I say that's what it is in hip hop, and it's like all of that toxic energy that is imbued in the music. I literally had the event this weekend, and I told everybody, I'm not playing no Diddy. And then I played More Money, More Problems. And Diddy verse was about to start, and I skipped it. I set cue points. As soon as his verse was about to start, boom, I skipped it and went to Big. They're like, oh, he really ain't playing no Diddy. I'm like, no, I'm not. And it's not enough, though, for me, because there's so much beyond just the music that needs to be addressed, and it won't be addressed because he's insulated himself with the money and
as far as what?
In terms of him getting of Cassie getting justice, of us.
I'm saying, but you said some things won't be addressed. I'm saying you ain't got to go detail, but I guess what are you saying?
As we've seen it now, right? If this video came out today and the incident happened today, charges would be filed and he would be arrested and things.
Oh, yeah.
But because of their statute of limitations and the legal system is the way it is in the United States, he probably won't even face jail time for this.
I mean,
for this particular thing. But I strongly believe
I don't know
they
for
raided
sure.
his home and all the things that they probably found in the home, there's a lot more coming.
They say the feds leaked the video.
There's a lot more coming as it relates to...
They said the only reason the shit hasn't came out from before was because Diddy paid the hotel $50,000. This is alleged. I'm just going off of theories and shit online. There was no actual, I don't know. But they said that he paid the hotel $50,000 to take the video. Because after his rage and all that shit, he realized, oh shit, I'm in the hallway beating her ass. Let me clean this up a little bit.
Again.
So they said they went during the raids of the house. That's when they found the video, and now the feds leaked it to, pursue whatever agenda they have with Diddy.
Right. I know there's more going on with Diddy in that whole case and all that. But I think as a culture, we just need to start looking at the way we speak about women on our songs, the way we address women in our music videos, or the way we deal with women. I think we need to set the tone as men and just improve that and just revamp and change all of it. Going even back in the past, like not after Diddy's prime, even with Jay, right? Big pimpin', spinning cheese. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way we talked about women in hip hop for the longest has been negative. And it's been in a light where we kind of, we could just do better, man. As a whole. I'm just leaving it there because I'm trying to be respectful and of the moment and not go too macro with it because I can get too.
I think it's
too macro.
It's a little macro,
but that's where my brain always goes with this kind of stuff.
And I know you're macro. I don't believe that Diddy's behavior is indicative of hip hop, which is a statement that you made that I don't knock you for, but I feel like that was somewhat problematic because I think that DV, which is what they call it now, is a global issue, like outside of hip hop. The music that hip hop has, some of it misogynistic, some of it over-sexualized and all that shit. I do agree with that. But DV and violence against women has existed since the inception of time. Like, I would believe that this behavior has gone on. Like, I don't know when it became cool to start beating women, but I think that this shit has been going on forever. Like, and I don't think that it's just within hip-hop, which is where I do agree with you. We have some things that do not help the issue, but painting that as a hip-hop thing is where I'm like, I see that's, for me, I'm not going that macro with it. Like, the lyrics, yeah, I get that shit. All that shit, too. But there's sexualized lyrics in rock and roll. There's sexualized lyrics in a bunch of other different music forms, too, and there's been issues with artists, entertainers, and all that shit in domestic violence in different forms of music outside of just hip hop. So I think the issue going macro is bigger than just hip hop. It's about how we treat women in general. Like that is
I'll take that.
Man versus woman. Like the respect level of like, I'm 2 times as strong as you. Scientifically, men are sometimes maybe even more than that for the niggas that like to lift and all other shit. Like, men are stronger than women scientifically. Like, men can inflict more harm on a woman's body than vice versa. And I'm not saying it's cool for women to put their hands on men either. So I'm going to talk to y'all ladies and say the ones that like to provoke that shit and like egg men on in that kind of way, stop that too. Because that's an issue as well.
Right.
But just speaking from men, for men, like, it's known. Men can hurt women.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of just hip hop, that shit is a problem in general, the way that it's gone on for years and years and years, and Diddy ain't the first person we seen go through shit like this. Like, it's been out there, They was just talking about freaking Ray Rice, the NFL player, when he punched his girl in the fucking face in the elevator and knocked her out and shit like that. Like, shit is crazy, you know what I'm saying? And I understand that shit can get tense with women. I've been in situations with women where shit can go one way or another, and I purposely remove myself from this because oftentimes it ain't about what you're gonna do to me. It's like I don't want to put myself in a position to where I get so angry that I can't control myself and I do something I'm gonna end up regretting, because it's all emotions. Like that shit is sparked by insecure male emotions to where you feel like you need to inflict harm on a woman in that kind of way. So that's an internal thing for a man, That's an internal thing. You can't be out here moving in the way that you want to put your hands on a woman to fucking kick her and throw her down and all that shit. Like it's like this demeaning, it's degrading and all that. And you like really are of the mindset that you own her in a way that you can just put your hands on her in that kind of like emotional state and inflict harm and shit like that. Do you sometimes have to restrain? Sure. But there's levels of like violence, and what I saw in that shit, it was like, bro, you trying to beat her ass. Like, you throwing vases at her, glass vases and all that shit. Like, that's crazy shit to me. Like, crazy shit to me. Do that shit to a nigga, bro. Like, you wouldn't. It's the next thing. Because a man's going to be able to fight back, or should be able to fight back a little bit more effectively than the frail, skinny, light-skinned chick that you beating up on. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Like, to me, that's pussy shit. That's weak shit. That's like male, like fragile male ego shit. The shit that goes over the top to where, like, it ain't no place for that shit, man. It just ain't no place for that. Am I canceling Diddy's music and all that shit to me off of that point that you just said? I feel it's tricky with Diddy just because he's been so integral in many artists' career, and over the past few days, I've had to take a step back and look at myself. Like, damn, how far am I willing to go with this shit? Like, Faith Evans, love Faith Evans, fucking Carl Thomas, fucking 112, fucking The Lox, Mace, like Biggie, like all these artists, he's had a great impact on their overall career and success. So how do I, and I'm not saying I got the right answer, how do I continue to move forward from this point is where my internal battle has come with myself.
Yes.
Because The Lox is one of my favorite all-time hip-hop groups ever. They was Bad Boy. Am I willing to not listen to any Bad Boy, like, from that era when they was with Diddy? I don't know. Because that would then take away the work of those artists and what they did. Like, just because your boss is a piece of shit, like, I can't fuck with you no more. And I'm not angry or, like, going against anybody that's saying they canceling Diddy. This is all very fresh. So a lot of people is reacting off a lot of emotions right now. For me, I know Diddy has been at the forefront of a lot of great careers, people. Fuck Diddy, but I don't know if I could just, move away from all the other artists that I've loved that have came up under that umbrella. Again, because your boss is a piece of shit, more or less. And a lot of them artists got away from his ass because business-wise, they said the same shit. Diddy moved funny with his business as well, So, again, this is the person, the character, the person that we talking about, So it's tricky, man. It's tricky.
I mean, how real can I get?
You can get real.
How real though?
We are real.
I'm just bitches get strangled for their earrings and bangles. And when I rock her and drop her, I'm taking her door knockers, and if she resists, block her, block her, block her. Man, this is, like, to me, like Rodney King.
In what sense?
Remember when Rodney King happened, man? And society as a whole got to see the police brutality on a black man. No doubt. And it changed the way
on video.
Right, it was on video. It's like, damn, we really messing
Riots
up.
Behind that shit. All that shit. Mm-hmm.
I'm not subscribing. I'm looking at all these old fuck niggas. These old fuck niggas. I'm calling these niggas out, man. Because they've been getting away with this shit for too long, putting toxic energy out. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Rick Ross. Put Molly all in her drink. She ain't even know it. These nasty fucks, man. And they can run around and use their popularity and their money and be fucking quote unquote famous. And we don't ever call them out for it. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of us teetering along the line like it's okay to do what they are putting in their rap lyrics. They're saying, this is what I'm about. Whether it's a lie, whether it's a reimagining, or they're embellishing, is all wrong. I don't want my daughter being the topic of the conversation if it ever is a point where I'm like, oh, this is how you going to deal with my like, I'm not just looking at the even Eminem did it in his history, right? The whole song Kim about abusing his ex-wife and shit. Like, we just gotta stop fucking playing games and using words. Words have power. They say in the Bible, life or death is come through a tongue. That's where it's at. It's coming through the tongue. The words we say, the energy we put out, energy is real. It's felt, right? And if we're gonna sit here and play games, even with Pac, hit him up. I'm just saying, we can go on and on about the music, but we are literally choosing to listen and engage in a music that's abusing our women. And we not gonna call them out for that shit? Nah. This is, for me, the moment where I go, I need to make a change. Personally. I'm not telling y'all what to do, EFS family, but fuck Diddy. It's no Diddy in my Serato going forward. I will literally go ahead and do the editing if I have to, so that every time, even the bad, all that's skipped. I'm moving past it. And then going forward, any artist, if y'all got songs that promote any abuse to women, any negative actions towards females, if it's something that I'm just not rocking with, I'm done, bro. I'm done co-signing these fuck niggas because they don't care about us or the community that pretty much got them where they at. If they did, they would make music that uplift the community and the women that's in a part of the community. They don't give a fuck about us. So fuck them. If they on the list of making music like that. If they not, then you good. But if you in that category of women beating, drugging women, raping women, assaulting women, you're fucking done, bro. We're not fucking with you no more. That's my stamp. That's my soapbox. Done with it.
I mean, strong stance. Like, strong stance. Like, I ain't even trying to follow that up.
That's what I'm saying. How really you want me to be? Because I'm done, man. It's over. It's too much, man.
There's a line with me, and I ain't knocking. Again, it's multifold, just because I do believe that there are different kinds of women, and in hip hop, there's a lot of different songs about women and the ways we speak about women and all that. And there's still going to be the women that are for the streets. There's still going to be the women that are, et cetera, et cetera. Like, she's a hoe, she's et cetera. Like, those women do exist. So I'm not going to say that every woman is super, super quality. Every woman is like the queen, the highest level. Like, there are women that, have some level of the things that we speak of. But when it comes to, again, just the basic rights of women to move around freely without feeling like they are going to have violence done against them, like the one thing I just seen some shit that was crazy in New York. It was one thing in the Bronx. And then the hood, if it wasn't for the police being in, I don't know if you saw the video on that shit. This one. It was a dude in New York in the Bronx. He's running behind women with a fucking, I don't know what he was using, but choking them up from behind, caught on video, choking them up, dragging them to the ground, and dragging them off to go have his way with them. Like, that kind of shit. Like, that's the sicko shit to me. I'm saying that's the man versus woman problem. Is there sex? Is there, like, freedom to be sexual? If that's what you want to do, sure, all that. Like, women, if you are that free and whatever, like, I ain't gonna go too deep into it because this ain't that conversation. But the basic treatment of women, whether it be physical violence, again, like you said, drugging, rape, all those things is off the table for me. Yeah. And to the Rick Ross point and all that shit, I remember Rick Ross getting flack for that shit. I found it very funny. You putting Molly on a drink she didn't even know. Like, bro, like, man, nigga, like, And coming from someone who, at that point, I found it weird, to now a person who has a daughter after that is like, bro, like, these are the people that we got to protect our young queens and you know, our daughters, nieces, sisters. That's the shit that we gotta worry about out here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weirdo niggas on top of just this, not even on top of, aside from the stand-up niggas that's out here. There's a lot of fucking weirdos. There's a lot of sickos. There's a lot of people whose brain don't necessarily function the right way when dealing with the opposite sex, you know? And they look at it as one thing and nothing else, you know?
Yep.
Like, she's a woman, she's hot. Like, I can appreciate a woman's beauty. That don't mean she's yours to go fuck, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If she's about it, sure, explore it if that's what you want to do. But it does not mean she's supposed to fuck you. It does not mean because she doesn't want to be with you that you can beat up on her. Like the niggas that's out here in these major cities, some other shit I said. I just happen to rely a lot on New York shit because that's where most of my algorithm show me shit from. The young nigga says, yo, I'm trying to holler at you. What up, whatever. Nah, I ain't fucking with you. Just the girl talking to the guy and he beat up on her. Like, that to me, like, as men, like, that shit pathetic, is cowardice. Bro. Like, the niggas who check shit like that are the niggas that I champion, the niggas that I stand behind, the niggas that I actually can, you know, we can actually have some kind of a bond and all that shit. Man. If you're about harming women physically, knowing that you're only doing that shit because you got the one up on her, right? And she can't really do shit back to you, you a fucking pussy. Yeah. You a pussy. Self-defense, whole different situation. Because again, man, woman, if you have the opportunity to protect yourself when being challenged in that way and you try to diffuse and all that other shit, cool. Like, my stance on the whole Jonathan Major shit, which was a whole big thing which came out months ago, my nigga tried to run because that shit was getting too hectic for him. And he wanted to get out the car. People are, oh, well, he was beating on it in the car, this is that, whatever. And he realized, like, bro, you don't know what happened in that car. It looked like he was trying to get away from the situation because it was getting a little too hot for him. He was not continuing to engage, you know? Different scenario from what we just witnessed and what we speak about right here.
Completely different. And that's why it's difficult for me sometimes when you get these cases, because the court of law can be manipulated. We've seen it with so many cases in historically.
And that's what they did to Homeboy.
And that's what they're doing now with the whole, you know, Diddy's not charged. I don't know.
Statute, like, that's the whack part.
That whole thing is just weird to me. But it's like the court of public opinion is where we can still have
he's over
the power.
We're not,
and even in his apology, he didn't ask for forgiveness. He's like, I'm not asking for your forgiveness. You're not getting it.
Nah, it's
as
over.
if you could ask.
It's over. That shit was weak.
So it's like,
shit was a weak apology, bro.
If you have anything, just putting it on notice, y'all niggas that go around beating women, I'm putting y'all on notice. Your days are numbered.
Y'all.
You're about to be excluded from any and all of the bullshit. Right? So
y'all for extra freaky niggas and
all that weird shit too.
That shit is weird, man. That shit is weird.
It's over.
As a man who's been very fortunate, or whatever you want to call it, I've dealt with a lot of women in my life in one facet or another. I've had the one night stands. I've had women who I've had flings with. I've had women who I've committed to in a relationship. You know, I've cheated on women at one point in my life. So I like had my experience with women has a vast, you know, big spectrum with this guy right here. Woman beating is nowhere on that spectrum.
Wow.
I had a great life so far. I've graduated past a lot of that shit as far as how I used to move and everything like that. I'm older. I'm wiser. Certain shit just ain't for me no more. Beating women has never been on my jacket, will never be, and I've always looked at that shit like you're a weak-ass nigga, and I wish someone would put hands on you. Am I jumping up there to say, like, I'm out here saving every woman? No, I can't. It's been so much of it that I can't be the person, you know. I'm not Captain Save them in that way. But niggas like that, it's a special place for niggas like y'all. Like, there's a special place for it. And I stand on that. I'm talking about whatever is supposed to come to Diddy from this, whether it be financial, whether it be legal, because they said there was one lawyer saying that there was a way they could still pursue charges on it. I don't know. I ain't in the legal system in that way. So I can't speak to that. But my stance is it's a special place for niggas like y'all. And whatever you got coming to you, you deserve it, bro. Like, you don't beat up on the people that you just basic human rights, bro. Treat people right.
Treat people right.
You know, treat people right.
Even
treat
deeper
people
than
with respect and treat people the way that you would want someone to deal with someone close to you who has that same dynamic. Again, you got daughters, Diddy. 3 of them, I think.
Come on.
3.
What kind of man is
your 2 little girls that you put in the twins, Kim Porter's daughters, you know? And with that said, reopen that case, because there's a lot of funny shit going on with that shit that I'm hearing too, you know?
And I mean, I don't want to reopen that case. I don't want to go too deep in there because we could get into that.
Reopen that case. Fuck it.
And
I'll
really
reopen
look at it.
Reopen
look at
it. I
every
ain't going too deep into it. I want that
yeah.
case reopened. Because I believe there's some funny shit. There's been said there's some funny shit around that. Kim Porter's friend, which is the crazy shit, leading back to Cassie, and I'm off on a tangent now, but it also is a good tangent because Kim Porter's friend was making comments after the video came out, and let me find this shit because I'm going to read it. There's a lot going on with this shit. Very passionate about it, so I'm going to just open up about it. This is Kim, woman who claims to have been friends with Diddy's deceased ex. Kim Porter speaks out. Cassie laughed at Diddy beating Kim was the headline for this one. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm going to read the comments from it.
Okay.
This Diddy thing is not a surprise, but it makes me remember the horrible way he treated my friend, Kim Porter, and how I've always silently held him responsible for her young death. Diddy was a motherfucker. Y'all would not even begin to believe the way he treated Kim Porter. And ironically, in parentheses, Cassie, back then, allowed her to be used to disrespect Kim in her own home. Cassie let herself be flaunted in Kim's face and laughed at Diddy beating Kim was awful. This is from the friend, from whatever she knows about, you know, whatever was going on in Cassie and Diddy's early minglings when they first became a couple. I feel bad for Cassie getting beat up like that, but I still remember when Cassie allowed herself to be used racially against Kim Porter as Diddy humiliated, beat, and repeat Kim for years. Beat and repeat. I don't know, like beat and repeat with Kim for years. Y'all have always hated me talking real about these men, but they deserve it. I'm not going to say because there's a lot more on that. But apparently she goes on further to say that I will never forget the time that he tried to make Kim Porter lick Cassie's tampon.
Come on, yo.
Like,
come on, yo. Just
like I could see it though. Like now, when the shit is like, I could see.
He is diabolical.
Shit is crazy.
He's like an evil villain.
Shit is crazy.
And I think that the more that
a nigga with money, a nigga with influence, and just literally like, I think I can get away with everything. Which is why his tone switched the way it is now, because the proof is in the fucking pudding, bro. Like the shit is out there. You've been for months and months. It's been since November when the shit first sparked off to where she came out and you settled the shit the next day.
Yep.
We always thought that was funny. We always thought that was real funny that he settled that quickly. Everything that rolled out after that, funny. The gay jokes, the gay rumors, the woman beater, the sexual abuse, the people coming out. Like, bro, the shit looks like
hindsight's 2020.
Very believable.
Hindsight's 2020.
And the most fucking ironic thing about it is you just posted that shit on your gram. Time tells truth. As if you were the shining, the person, right? You innocent, and then all of this shit is just conveniently they trying to tear you down, and they may be trying to tear you down. You may have done the wrong thing to the wrong person the right way with the right influence to say, "I fuck it, Diddy's going down now." But when you got that kind of track record, you don't stand in innocence, bro, and make it seem like you are clean of all the accusations that they've been saying on you.
Yeah,
you got your son. Your kids wrapped up in this shit. Your son's putting out diss records. I wonder how fucking he feel right now.
Like a fool.
Talking shit about 50 Cent and your dad, this is that, whatever, like taunting the feds and all that shit. And now you like shit crazy.
But
did your kids know you was moving around like that?
They don't. They didn't.
They couldn't.
They didn't know. And now they see who he really is. And it's probably a shock to them.
Nuts. You look fucking nuts.
I'm
sitting on your Instagram with your camera in front of your face now talking about, I'm truly sorry. My nigga, you not sorry. You sorry you got caught.
That's the difference.
You sorry all this shit is rolling out in front of everybody now.
Sorry,
damage control.
If he was truly sorry, he would have put out an apology
back then.
Even back then. But I'm going as recent as when he settled. He would have said, "There's the time."
That's what I meant by back then.
No, I mean
when you
back
settled.
then should be 2016.
Yeah, for sure.
But
that ship sailed, bro.
But
That ship sailed.
What I'm saying is, even when he's talking about settling
With Cassie.
there should have been an immediate response saying, look, there's some things that happened and I'm sorry for what I did.
Niggas don't be sorry, man.
Niggas
be sorry they got caught, man.
He
For
ain't
real.
sorry. I didn't hear him seeing him shed no tear.
It looked like he was trying to muster up a tear on the camera, which is the crazy shit. It's like, bro, I'm looking out, nigga, nobody believes you, bro. Nobody believes you.
Go sit down somewhere.
Fuck boy of
and wait for the cuffs.
Century right now.
Wait for the cuffs.
Century.
Century. I think
I know we going hard, but fuck it, man. Like that shit,
I think
it really
speaks to the
bothered me.
biggest
I got a daughter. I got sisters.
Yep.
I got a mother.
Mm-hmm.
My nigga, if something happened to one of them that I saw on video like that, put the cuffs on me. Like, put the cuffs on me.
They don't have to.
Put the cuffs on me because I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, and I'm gonna claim like insanity or whatever. Like, I'm gonna use that as my defense. But bro, like that shit was heinous to see, man. Heinous.
It was. And I think that's only
nastiness, man.
That was only the one we saw.
Fuck out of here.
You know that was a pattern of behavior.
That's what I'm saying. It's a pattern. Niggas don't just jump out of the bed and chase chicks in the hallway in a towel, bro.
Yeah. But deeper than that, I think what it speaks to is not just the woman aspect, but whenever you're picking on someone that's defenseless or you're attacking someone that's defenseless, it speaks to just being a bully
again,
and you think that you're of a ilk or some kind of level above them.
Yeah,
and that hubris that it
takes
to be a person. I never liked bullies. I never understood that concept mentally. Is that I'm in a position of power, so I'm going to do something against you to stand on your neck or your shoulders and lift myself up.
That's weak, man.
It's the most vile thing I think I've ever seen or witnessed.
It is weak.
And I've seen it in multiple different fashions. I've seen it with people in the private sector making money, and they think they can dictate people's lives through policies and work. I've seen it, even when you talk about in the clubs and things like that. Oh, I'm in VIP section. Like a lot of society is built in this kind of this mindset because I'm quote unquote in the position of power or money or influence. I can dictate the lives of others who aren't in the same position, and it just shows true character. And I think it's a weak moral fiber to do something and move in that way. I never liked it. I never will.
Yeah, and it's out here, man. It's just how society is. We understand people like that exist, but we opening up the conversation just because the shit really. Again, I got a very strong feeling about men who put their hands on women like that. It's not cool. No. And that's that, and we're going to leave it at that. Whatever comes remains to be seen. We'll see how this thing rolls out. But at this point, Diddy is fuck you from now till whenever, bro. I don't believe you actually have gone through enough of the fire to be a changed man. Do I believe in forgiveness? Yes. Do I believe in people actually taking steps to right the wrongs that they've done in life? Mm-hmm. Yes. This ain't that time for you, Diddy. I believe you got a lot more fire to go through before anyone can forgive you for any of the shit you've done to the people that have actually harmed you. So, I mean, you've actually harmed part of me. But,
you got it,
yeah, man, that's that. So we see how this thing plays out.
Facts, bro.
Off that, though, man, we're going to move forward. Knicks is in a little bit of a bind right now. We've been out here for a minute.
They're coming back now.
They're coming back. So I very much love to catch the comeback live, and not on air. So, we're going to wrap this thing up with our quote for the day. It's back on me. And I got a good one.
That's what you got for us.
This happens to be a tweet, and it's oddly enough, it ties into everything we was talking about from one of my favorite artists, Jadakiss, who was under the Puff umbrella, branched off from it, Full circle, And this was from before that shit even got released. I saved this days ago. So, quote, rings true to who Kisses as an individual, I think. And just in general, it's a great message to give y'all on the way out as we close out episode 15. The message from Jadakiss is: a wise man once said, laziness kills ambition, jealousy kills peace, anger kills wisdom, and fear kills dreams.
Run that back.
Run that back.
Yeah.
A wise man once said, laziness kills ambition, jealousy kills peace, anger kills wisdom, and fear kills dreams. So let that sink in. You know. I ain't raspy enough for that.
It's all good.
But yeah, man, we out here. Episode 15 is coming to a close. From the gang, myself, D. Burke, Waldo Black. As always, men, women, children, everyone, protect yourselves, protect your peace, take care of yourselves mentally, physically, all things in between. It's a crazy world we living in right now. A lot of shit going on, and the things you see have a very big impact on what you feel internally. And sometimes you just got to purge those emotions by getting back to a level state, you know. And I myself, again, I get riled up over just the shit we was talking about. Because, again, that shit really emotionally made me feel away. And I know some women who've been through some things like that myself. Man. So it hits home for me. And, you know, I'll be soapbox D today because, you know, it is what it is. But, again, take care of yourself mentally, physically, all things in between. Protect your peace, guard your energy. And we'll be back at you with another audio occasion soon. From the gang, EFS podcast, out of here. Peace.
Much love, y'all.